Hey everyone, welcome back. So you know how sometimes in K-pop there are things that you can really hate, but then at other times you're like, you know what, I'm glad this exists. Personally, I have a few things that I feel that way about, and today we're here to talk about them. This video really isn't that serious, I'm just here to talk about some things that annoy me, and if you want to, share some things that you feel the same about in the comments. Without further ado, let's get into it. I don't hate the idea of having a center in theory. At first glance, the center position just makes you think that one person is going to be the main focus most of the time, but then everyone else will still have their shining moments, you know? However, what I hate about the center position is that a lot of the time, companies only focus on the center and don't give much of any screen time to anyone else. And if, say, your favorite member isn't the center, you're probably not going to see much of them, which will make you upset. However, I am glad the center position exists in these groups because at least then you know what you're getting into. A lot of these groups have unofficial centers who get basically all of the screen time, so these companies should just give these members the center position because we all know that it basically exists at that point. So I don't like the center position because the center always gets all of the screen time, but I'm glad it exists because you can't really be surprised. Now, it makes me sad when groups don't put out B-sides for their comebacks, but a lot of the time it sort of makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong, if B-sides didn't exist, I wouldn't be as into K-pop as I am because there just wouldn't be enough music. But for a lot of these groups from smaller companies, singles make sense because nobody's really gonna listen to the B-sides because they don't have that big of a fan base. For bigger companies, there's like no excuse, they should always have at least a couple B-sides. But for a lot of these smaller groups, if they put a lot of money into making B-sides and then no one streamed them, they wouldn't have enough money to have comebacks, so I can appreciate singles when they're there to help the group stay afloat. I'm not saying that I want groups to disband, but if it's painfully obvious that the group's career isn't really going anywhere, whether that's due to their company ignoring them or just any factors in general, honestly, it's nice to see these groups disband so that I know that the idols can go on with their lives, they can just move on. I'd rather see these idols free from their contracts than staying in the dungeon for years, and if there isn't really anything left for the group to give, I mean, just free them at that point. These idols are real people, and after their groups disband, a lot of them move on to get married, settle down, or just, pursue careers in other paths, and it's really nice to see. Overall, being an idol isn't the end game for anybody, so once these people get to move on, it sort of makes me happy. And that concludes this video. Can I just say, I'm listening to ONEUS' recent comeback right now while recording, and it is so good. It might be my favorite of the year, honestly. It's either ONEUS, Golden Child, or ONEUS. I don't know, my favorite always changes, and there's just so much good music, guys. Also, make sure to check out MCND's comeback at the end of the month. I'm so excited, guys! I can't wait, I cannot wait, I can't wait. So, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to support me, try sharing or subscribing. Yeah, thanks, see you tomorrow.